We're back in Sherwood Forest for episode 2 of Robyn with a Y Hood. What shenanigans will the crew get up to this week? How many white people will be bad? All of them, obviously. This episode I've called ACAB. All characters are broken. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Don't worry, we're going to be in and out before we know it with this episode. Holy cow. But before we do, let's go into some ratings, shall we? Episode 1 of Robyn in the Hood ended 29th on the night, and this is in Canadashire, with a viewership of 247,000 and a key demo viewership, which is the 25 to 54 of 82,000. Episode 2 ended 69th, giggity, on the night, losing nearly 50% of its audience from episode 1 to episode 2, dropping to 139,000, with the key demo of 25 to 54 dropping to 45,000. Yeah, nobody's watching the show. What a shocker. Previously on Robyn Hood, they stole from the rich and gave to themselves. No, seriously, they stole from the rich to pay for their own mother's bail because she actually did break the law for trespassing, and then when they attempted to bring her in, she resisted arrest and was unfortunately shot in possibly one of the most hilarious scenes I've seen in terrible woke cringe television ever.
Baby, I can't feel my legs.
So we get an establishing shot of Sherwood Forest, and the video has gone viral or something. And Robyn wakes up in bed with Little John. Oh my God! And for all intents and purposes, it does look like they've done the deed. Might need to fill that cookie jar of condoms in your kitchen. What a weird place to keep a jar of condoms. Hi, welcome to my apartment. Would you like something to eat? I could throw a pizza in the oven, or maybe a couple of frozen burritos. Or if you want to just cut straight to the fucking, there's a jar of condoms right there. Robyn, she wakes up. Little John's arm's been wrapped around her in bed. She turns around, she smiles at him. It's all the signs that they did something. She even says, "Are you glad you came back now?" And he's like, "Ho, ho, ho, ho! Now more than ever." Well, give it till slightly later in the episode, mate, because Marion's gonna cuck the shit out of you. Then we get a shot of another police drone, because the one that was destroyed in the first episode that was worth more than the salary of 2 of the cops, one of them that doesn't appear in this episode, the one that shot the mother, suddenly they have a fleet of them looking for Prince's car, and they find it. And the sheriff says, "My suspicions were correct." Of course your suspicions were correct. You were attacked by the Hood gang, who then stole the car. They then recorded themselves singing their song by the car, by the towers of Sherwood Forest. So it was a pretty safe assumption to think that the car would be around that area. We got ourselves a regular Sherlock Holmes here, boys. So John Prince and the sheriff are having a bit of an argument because they're not happy about what's happened. They say, oh, the crew had something to do with Robyn's mum. If only they had access to, I don't know, footage of Robyn being at the same place as her mum at roughly the same time and having access to this room because of her son. No, I guess the security cameras don't work on Robyn, but okay. And so the son comes in and they're like, I wonder how she got in here. And he says, I don't know, but I've lost one of my security cards, bro. Look, I've got loads of them. I had them all made up by the security guy because I fuck a lot of women and I leave a lot of security cards all over the place because I'm just a stupid, like, white boy bro, man. But if the police are gonna dust for Prince, don't go in my room, bro. The sheets are covered in fucking cum because I don't wash them, apparently. So his dad snatches his cards away from him and throws them on the floor and gives him one back and says, this is the last one. And if you lose this, then you're out of here. And he says, well, I don't care, bro. I'm just a really badly written character like everybody else, just here to be a complete moron so that you can push the plot forward, even though it makes no fucking sense, bro. Now, Director X loves his music, and I'm gonna sing you a little song now. Forgive me, I don't have the greatest voice in the world, but here we go. A show is only as good as its writers, and they are dog shit, and so is this show. You know, it's got potential, I think. Oh, God. So Robyn and her younger sister arrive back home, and there's a bunch of flowers and stuff outside of the door from the residence, which I imagine, of course, is for the paralyzed mum, the flight risk who's can't walk and is handcuffed to her hospital bed. Don't worry about that. And then this young lad comes along, clearly interested in the younger sister. And I'm just thinking to myself, dear God, don't take him to the kitchen and give him a cookie. Please. Anyway, Robyn says, hey, you go off and have a bit of fun together. Don't worry about mum. Oh, dodged a bullet on that one. I mean, it's not like the show would do some sort of really bizarre, inappropriate humor at the wrong time. Like, I don't know, talk about the paralyzed mother and then somehow turn it into a fingering joke. Yeah, we'll get to that later. So Robyn literally bumps into Marion and her papers go everywhere. And she's like, oh, sorry, I came to the apartment, I buzzed, but nobody was there. No, because she's right in front of you, you dipshit. And then she says, oh, I live in Capshaw or something, which I imagine is a opulent place. And then she says, yeah, but I live with my parents. Sexy, I know. And Robyn says, well, it looks like we've got something in common because she, of course, lives with her mum because she's a 24-year-old bum that doesn't do any work. She's just walking around doing nothing. She delivered one item in the first episode. No items delivered today. I guess nobody in Sherwood and Forest has got a fucking job. No wonder Prince John wants to get rid of these lazy bums and do something with this place. And then Marion says to her, well, which part do we have in common? The sexy? Or the living with the parents bit? Oh, I'm sorry, little John. Your heterosexual relationship is now over. It's ladies' night. Fucking scissoring! So the Rozzers turn up to Sherwood and Forest, and they are after the Hood Gang. And the sheriff here is using the megaphone to say, we will not stop and rest until we've found them. And the fleet of drones that cost gazillions of dollars are flying everywhere as they start identifying people who illegally trespassed in the first episode. And I gotta say, the more that the sheriff gets shouty and ranty and evil, I kind of get a little bit turned on. So Marion comes in and says, Sheriff, this is illegal. You can't do this. And the sheriff says, oh, I've got a warrant. I've got a warrant. It's legal. I've got a warrant. I'm really pleased that in this scene, these two have got food and are therefore probably full up by time they get home and they don't have to go in the cookie jar. Anyway, they're having a conversation about jalapeno and pineapple on pizza, and the sister's just like, how does that work? And he's like, oh, believe me, it works. I like him. Yeah, it works for me as well. And then because the kids who are, 14 years old or something, are walking happily down the street together, a bunch of cops come along with guns. It's like, God! And then they get handcuffed and, oh my God, this is the most pathetic piece of shit I have seen. There isn't a single solitary believable character in the show apart from this boy who thinks jalapeno and pineapple go on a pizza because it does. Other than that, everyone is so ridiculous and taken to an extreme for some sort of exaggerated victimization. And it doesn't work. It makes your show look fucking pathetic. And that's why nobody's watching it, because it's pathetic, woke shite. ACAB. All characters are broken. When everything looks ridiculous, when everything looks stupid, when everything looks exaggerated, when everything looks so skewed to one direction that it's become laughable, nothing is relatable. And that's why more people are laughing at this show than taking it seriously like the Director X intends it to be. Because it's satirically stupid. That's what it is. It's such an extreme, oh my god, that it becomes laughable and parody. This isn't high art. You just have to be high to watch the damn thing. If you wanted to actually do something that maybe would be more interesting, it would be to make John Prince black. Probably even a former resident of Sherwood Forest. Somebody that had come into money, maybe nouveau riche, and then he decided to use his newfound wealth to take over Sherwood, redevelop Sherwood. Maybe he has a grudge about living there. Maybe he's got hang-ups about where he came from. But Director X is so concerned with black man good, white man and everyone else bad, that he just doesn't have any clues or ideas about making compelling characters and characters that people can actually relate to. Anywho, that probably made a bit too much sense. So let's just get back to the shit show, shall we? The police are just comically tearing everything apart in apartments and dragging people out and lining them up. It's getting absolutely fucking ridiculous now, but it's a current day show, so absolutely. I'm half surprised somebody on fire wasn't just running down the fucking hallway going, oh my god, the police are bastards! Come to think of it, that probably would have been the least ridiculous thing I would have seen in this show. Also, the more evil the sheriff gets, the more turned on I get. Pretty turned on right now. And I'll give her something else, giggity. At least this woman, this actress is committed to her role. Director X should be committed to an asylum. So Robyn comes and gives herself up to the police so they stop harassing her little sister. Give that girl a cookie. Don't go to the cookie jar! Finally, a scene that I actually enjoyed. Because when the actor who plays John Prince is actually allowed to do something to get his teeth into, some scenery to chomp on, he's actually pretty damn enjoyable and funny to watch. So he arrives at hospital where the flight risked, paralyzed, handcuffed to the hospital bed, no longer though because she made bail, mother of Robyn is. He brings her a box of chocolates and she's like, nurse, get rid of him. And he's like, well, I did ask the nurses to give us some time together because a bit of a big deal around here. I might have bought a hospital wing or two. What the fuck have you ever done, bitch? Anyway, never mind. And he brings us some chocolates and he says, do you want them? She's like, no. So he's like, okay. Starts eating the chocolates, sits down and says, look, I'm sorry for what happened to you. But you see, I'm a little bit miffed myself because I had a bunch of thieves that broke into my place, stole my stuff, and assaulted me. And I'm like, he is 100% right. Complete and utterly correct. So he says to her, I will give you $1 million if you just stop protesting. If you just stop protesting against my bill so-and-so to try and take over Sherwood Forest. Leave someone else to do the fight now. You've done your work, you know, use that money. I'll give you access to stem cell research and all kinds of stuff. You will walk again. But this is a woman with the courage of conviction. And she says, if I wasn't paralyzed, I would shove my foot up your ass. This whole situation was actually pretty good and pretty funny because John Prince put together a compelling argument, but the mother's principles weren't compromised. It would have been 1,000 times better if she wasn't a lazy, good-for-nothing, jobless bum that went and trespassed on people's properties instead of doing things by the book, which would have made her more sympathetic. But of course, we live in intersectional times, and intersectionality is based around victimhood. And so the scene just doesn't quite work from her perspective but you can actually fully understand where he's coming from. Oopsie doopsie, skewed morality. So Evelyn is talking to Robyn in her house and she says, "Where were you on the night of the robbing?" And Robyn says, "I was in a park outside of the hospital in tears because my mother had just been paralyzed and I wasn't upstairs stealing everything to pay for a bail even though she was trespassing and then resisted arrest." And so Evelyn asks for a police officer to bring up the footage because we've got cameras around there. Oh my God! But they block it and he can't bring up the footage. So he says, "It doesn't matter. We can go to the server and get the footage from the server. Whatever will our heroic heroes do apart from break in and, you know, do more crime? Be gay, do crime." Well, thankfully for Robyn, a black girl just so happened to be the same size, the same age-ish, and just so happened to want to sit on a park bench outside the hospital at the time that she claimed to have a cry or something. What a coincidence! The writers are just not even trying. Nobody's even trying to make it interesting or compelling. No, everything's just gotta be so contrived and convenient. Bloody hell. I understand why this came 69th on the ratings. If you can't be bothered to try, then why should somebody be bothered to watch your show? So they easily get themselves into the police server room because there was a stupid bint on the front desk that was more bothered that somebody's daddy got them a job. So I guess that just compromises everything for her. She'll just let any old fucker through so that they could put the data onto the hard drive so they could...
This was a terrible idea.
The show, absolutely agree with you. Also, so they hack the drones to stop the police from capturing the hood, and then they crash the drones on the floor, which of course cost $15 gazillion each. And then, as I guess a neighborhood like Sherwood and Forest should, they end by vandalizing and littering all over their own home, throwing bunches of eggs and plastic bottles and all kinds of crap out of the window. I wonder who's gonna pick all that stuff up. I mean, there should be plenty of people to volunteer. None of them have a fucking job. So Marion turns up at the nth apartment to tell little John that Robyn's her woman now and he can go fuck off. And then they steal Robyn's little sister's new boyfriend's pizza. Maybe a little bit of truth in that. Oh my God, he went to the kitchen. Don't go in the cookie jar! And it ends with the Wicked Witch of the West absolutely shitting her pants because she's just lost the police department of New Nottingham, you know, that opulent, affluent area, in about $2 billion worth of debt in drone damage. But she's gonna pool resources with Prince John. John Prince. Prince. The Sign. Yep, another hot garbage episode. What a surprise. There's nothing original here. There's nothing new here. And as the title says, ACAB. All characters are broken. Nothing seemingly interesting appears to be done with them. If there was any sort of good faith with this show whatsoever, then one of the policemen at least should actually be good, probably in the hood gang. Somebody who actually wants to work within the law to get rid of the corruption. But we're just dealing with a basic bitch with basic bitch victimhood ideology, and it's so fucking boring. I ain't even giving this a mark out of 10. There's no fucking point. Nobody's gonna watch it. Nobody cares. And you shouldn't. So I will see you in the next video. You take care. Bye for now.